All
I
right.
like it.
Nice
I
to
like
meet
it.
you.
Nice to meet you too. So what
Where?
are you up to?
Oh, I'm just getting things done today. I'm in Kansas City. Where are you located?
We're up in Massachusetts, in the
Okay.
western part of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I want
And
to
how are you?
begin our conversation here with surviving COVID. How did you get through the last 3 years, and how did it change you the way that you do things now?
Well, I'll tell you, I've always been a proponent of virtual work. Like, even before COVID hit, I one year decided to rent an RV and do my work from the RV while my team was here in the Berkshires. And for a few, 3, 4 months when I was recovering from Lyme disease. And so from that regard, like, um, I was always virtual, always in and out. Like I'd be remote sometimes and in the office sometimes. I am now. And what I like about it is it made it very acceptable to be remote, and people realize like it's you're not missing a beat being remote.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, like it's made our job easier because it gives my team a lot of flexibility. It gives them a lot of freedom because they're hard workers. I trust them implicitly. I know they're going to work and take care of our clients. So I love that it's become an acceptable part of our culture, that aspect. In terms of like how it directly affected us, I would say not much because my team decided really early on when it first hit. If when it first hit, everybody was in fear. And I'm a big proponent of you don't make decisions from fear. You don't make decisions. You absolutely like neutralize all fear because no good decisions come from fear, period.
Yeah.
And so what we did with our organization, we sat as a team, worked through the fear. We had our executive coach work with us to work through our own fear around this thing. And honestly, it neutralized it for me. It didn't minimize it, it's not like I didn't recognize that people were getting sick and everything else, but we made an agreement among the team that we would have our bubble, we would have our exposure and certain, with a limited amount of people, and we continued to come to the office. So we continue to, I feel very blessed that we continue to have connection because a lot of my team here, they like connection and we vibe with each other. We really like to be with each other. We really, have a nice cohesiveness here. So, and, I work with the markets, obviously. So at that time, the markets were jolted by this. But the Fed came in really quickly and made all the right moves, and it stabilized the market at the time. I think we're going to pay the price for that, what they
Yeah.
did, the easy money. And I think it's made a whole culture of underworking because
Yeah.
I think that so much was given away so quickly. A lot of people just haven't returned to the marketplace, and I think that's created a whole new culture around work. I also think like this has been something that's been going on. It's like a multi-decade trend that has been taking place is the way employees view their workplace has definitely changed. So like the younger generation, the millennials, for example, they won't accept certain things that my generation, like Gen X, like just past the baby boomers. I was born the first like few years after the baby boomers. My generation, Gen X, like it was methodical. It was a certain way. The millennials and younger, they want to work differently.
Right.
Okay. They want to work different. They view work differently. They want they are more tuned into purpose
Hmm.
and reason. Okay. So I think with COVID, what that did is that just brought that to the surface more.
Sure. Yeah.
It made it more obvious for people. And, as somebody who invests in companies, of course, I'm always concerned about what the employment situation looks like overall. I just think this isn't like a flash in the pan. I think this is a true sea change that we're going to see in business right now. And I think we'll see it for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
I
I
think the
agree.
whole mentality is completely changing. And I think COVID just brought that more to the surface. But the trend, I'm a big I'm all about patterns. So that's how my mind works. I use both hemispheres of my
Yeah.
brain. So I like to pay attention to patterns.
Yeah.
And when you pay attention to patterns, you will see that that this has been in the building phase for a very long time.
Yeah. So let's get
Mhm.
to the essence of what you do for a living. If I put you in front of a bunch of third graders at a career day and they ask you, what do you do for a living? How do you answer them?
I help other people make money. I help
S-
people make money, their money, make more money.
So what did
Mhm.
you want to be in the third grade?
A singer.
Okay. Do you sing?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. Excellent.
Mhm.
So let's peel that back a little bit. Go back to where you were born and raised, and how did these financial inclinations become you? How did you grow into who you are?
Oh, that's a great question. How do we ever all grow into who we are? I think it's so funny. I think there's yet another movement for me, right? But I would say, first of all, I grew up in like in Weathersfield, Connecticut, like a suburb of Hartford, Connecticut. I grew up in a very large family, last of 9 children, all musicians. Like we were raised with music. Music was part of our essence, part of our being. I had a brother who was in a rock and roll band. He made the first cut. I can't remember when Jefferson Starship went to Jefferson Airplane. I can't remember which one it went, but he was the runner up to be the bass guitarist and
Wow.
singer for them. And then I had a brother who played with Matt Guitar Murphy.
Yeah.
Yep. He toured with him when he was from like 18 years old to like 25. So I grew up in a family that was just, he was a jazz fusion percussionist. So I grew up in a family that was just saturated in music.
Yeah.
So, and all of us took some sort of instrument. I took piano and singing. But, I was also very mathematically minded. I went to college. Quite frankly, I went to college on full scholarship. I had no clue what I wanted to do. I really didn't like school at all. I was more of like a worker type than even though school was kind of, and this is horrible to say, but somewhat easy for me.
Yeah.
So to be honest with you, I literally just defaulted into I ended up majoring in economics, simply because I found it really simple.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Wow.
that I could find it simple and I can go to work because I literally worked, I went to school full time and I pretty much worked full time when I was in college. And I always preferred the work side of things, but I knew I needed an education. So, I ended up majoring in economics. It was a natural for me. And I also found, aspects of it, particularly like the macroeconomics, like that's really that's my forte is macroeconomics because it really does use both sides of the brain. It can be very scientific, very data driven, but it's like I use a high level of my intuition in
Yeah.
this whole process, like a very high level of intuition. And it's led me to effectively be able to tell the financial crisis was coming and the tech bubble was coming. I was able to call those before they happened because of the way my methods work. So I basically defaulted into this business, I would say, in college, knowing I gravitated to economics. Coming out, I knew, like, watching my brothers, although my brother who was with Matt Guitar Murphy probably could have made it to the Hilty, except he took up drinking. And so
Yeah.
he knew he had to leave the scene. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I don't think this is the kind of life I want to live. I really don't like the bar scene or anything like that at the time. So I got my first job by uh sheer will, I would say. Like I just got out of college, had my friend type up a resume for me because that's when we had typewriters.
Yeah.
And I just walked past security up to the guy who posted the compliance director who posted the job. And I walked in with my resume at the end of the day and I said, "Hey, I'm here to, hand my resume." And then he looked at me in complete shock that I made it past
Huh.
security.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Huh, anybody who could walk past security deserves an interview." So he interviewed me on the spot and hired me. So that's literally how I got in.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I started on the legal side, hated it. And thankfully, the market crashed in 1987. So I was sent to the floor of the exchange in Wall Street, and that was it. It injected in my blood, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Wow, this is for me." It was natural because it's numbers and it's data, and then it's also my intuition. So,
Excellent. So who's
mhm.
been a hero for you in your life?
Who's been a hero? Wow, I'm not really a starstruck person, that's for sure. I would say Mother Teresa is a
Yeah.
big deal to me. The Dalai Lama, Christ,
Yeah.
um, Sadhguru.
Yeah.
You can
That
see
makes
where I
sense.
go to,
Yeah. Yeah. I
Krishna.
dig it.
Um, yeah, those are my heroes for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So,
Mhm.
what is the motivator? Obviously, you've mentioned a lot of people that have had deep motivation and done a lot with their lives. What's that motivation for you to get up every day and to do the work that you do and to grow?
Okay. So the bottom line for me is, yeah, I'm an investment company. Yes, I am here to help people make money. Okay, I manage a $150 million portfolio. I've been doing it for 36 years. But the reason I had to start my company is because I want to change the face of capitalism. For years, they've been talking about conscious capitalism and ESG and all this. Well, I don't believe in all of that. I believe in caring capitalism. I truly believe in bringing love and bringing the human back into business meaning. So, this company, for example, we bring our human aspect into this company. So, meaning we are sentient beings. All emotions are allowed here, all feelings mad, sad, glad, and scared. Those are the four human emotions, the primary ones. We allow a full expression of that here. Okay. And I think this is part of the reason you see um, employees very unhappy with industry because they're not allowed to bring their true essence to work. They're supposed to be extracting somehow the most basic human element, which is our feelings, from the workday. It creates such confusion and I think depression.
Yeah.
So I would say every day I get up because I really embody the change that I think we need
Yeah.
in our corporate structure.
Yeah.
So and that's honestly, yeah, I manage money, but that is what motivates me.
Yeah. That's
And
great.
and literally that's my give back. So
Yeah.
this company, not only my employees, the first number one thing here is when I look at our values is safety. Okay. There's no safety in corporate America. And the safety, again, okay, physical safety, yes, but I'm talking about emotional safety.
Mhm.
One. The second thing is they have to ascribe to personal development because that all can't come about unless you know yourself
Yeah.
well. And I have a roster. They can do anything they need for their personal development. And then the third thing is love. Through that comes, you begin to get comfortable with yourself. You know how to love more freely you
Yeah.
know and so what we do as part of our give back, we have an executive coach on team, and every month we offer to the community constellations, which now is making all the movies now, like in Another Self and, Goop, they showed it. It's called Constellations, and we open it up to the community. And they can come in and actually do deep process work on feelings that they have. And it could even be done for businesses to figure out, do I sell my company now or do I buy this company? You can actually put it in the circuit and actually get very clear on your decisions. So this is what motivates me.
Yeah.
This is what, when you talk about what's the next phase, like give me your phases. Well, I think that's my next phase
Yeah.
because in truth, that's what you can see the spark that comes through me now,
Yeah.
because that's really, like I always say to everyone, yeah, I came into this industry by default, but I'm actually really a healer.
Yeah.
That's who
So,
I am.
so let's dig a little deeper. Everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Oh my gosh. A deeply loving, um, passionate, kind fireball.
I see it. I see it.
Very confident. One of the things like I always want to say is I lacked confidence. So much confidence. Like I had no self-esteem when I was young, and it's so nice to sit here and really know myself,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah.
So what are you the proudest of that you've done in your life so far?
create a corporate culture of love, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
These people are, they're so beautiful, and I am so blessed. Like every single day I look and I say, I did this. I did something. Wall Street executive, okay, who held very high positions in her career. Wall Street, her own investment company, investment advisory company. I created a corporate culture of love when most people that I said this to, even people who were my supporters, are said, it's so idealistic. How are you going to do it? It's idealistic. Love being idealistic. This,
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
this is where I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This is
Yeah.
not, love is not, that's the one thing we all need. We need to survive. How is it
Yeah.
idealistic? But I was actually able, through and with the work of my executive coach together, because we did this together, um, we were able to quantify what love looks like and actually create a measure by which people get promoted based on how they're showing love to themselves and through the organization and with each other.
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah.
I love it. So if
hmm
anyone out there wants to learn more about Willow, you, anything pertaining to your company, where do they go?
Okay. They would go to www.investwithwillow.com.
I spent a long time in corporate America. I'm a Gen Xer myself, and it was just too much. So I wish I would have run into people like you that really did foster this environment that was open and that was loving and that was human, because it's very Orwellian. It scares a lot of people, especially Gen Xers. So good
And it
on you.
should.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
hmm
for you for doing that, because
Thank you.
I can tell by what you're saying, you're sacrificing, because you could be up there in a sky rise doing a lot more figures on your salary, but instead you realize that you have a finite time on
hmm
this planet, so we might as well
hmm
do something good.
hmm It's
Right?
absolutely true. I held executive positions. I could have gone to the top of the heap. I made my way up there very quickly, but it wasn't true to me. I was
Yeah.
getting sick. It made me sick.
Yeah. It's
So,
yeah, it's
yeah.
it everyone I was around, I was in an architectural engineering firm. Everyone had ulcers, they were depressed, they were popping pills. Like, what are you guys doing? What is going on
Yeah.
here? So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a toxicity that needed to end. So,
Yeah.
but good on
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much for
Thank
opening
you.
up your story.
hmm
I really appreciate it. And best
hmm
of luck with everything.
Thank you so much, Joe. And I love that painting behind you. Did you do that?